George Clooney is George Clooney in J. Kelly. This is a very affectionate celebration of all of Clooney's charms from Noah Baumbach and co-writer Emily Mortimer and a cast of thousands. Name a person whose work you like. They are probably in J. Kelly. So Alonso, please tell us about it.
I'm sure George Clooney would be the first to tell you that he's not J. Kelly, but we can parse that out for the rest of our lives.
Look at you. You're the American dream. The last of the old movie stars.
I'm down here.
You're up there, you're down here, you're in here. We did this together.
Yes, J. Kelly is a big, handsome George Clooney-esque movie star. But, not everything is great in his life. He has two daughters, one of whom he is completely estranged from, and the other one would rather traipse around Europe the summer after high school with her buddies than spend time in LA with dear old dad. When a mentor of his who hired him for his first big gig dies, it sort of sets him down on a path of self-reflection, particularly after an encounter with a former acting school classmate, roommate, and best friend played by Billy Crudup. All of which leads to Jay deciding to surprise his daughter in Europe, which means, of course, flying with a full entourage because that's just how he rolls, which includes his manager, played by Adam Sandler, his publicist, played by Laura Dern, and a whole cadre of other folks. Along the way, of course, lots of flashbacks, lots of memories as to how he got here, a look at what the vagaries of his life is doing to the people around him, whether it's his loved ones, whether it's the people on his payroll who have to drop everything in their lives to accommodate his nonsense at the last minute, all of which is leading to a retrospective of his work in Tuscany. So it's a very kind of Wild Strawberries movie, which I'm sure Baumbach was, thinking about as he was doing this, because it's about this older guy on a road trip to receive an award who is thinking about his life and the choices he's made along the way and meeting young people who ask him leading questions that lead to other moments of self-doubt and self-reflection. Yeah, I like this quite a bit. I think that it's a great showcase for Clooney, obviously, but another great Adam Sandler performance as the devoted manager who thinks of himself as a friend, but a friend who collects 15%. Laura Dern, of course, kills it as the publicist, and she knows from publicists, she really gets a lot of that right as far as the people in this industry who work with the J. Kellys of the world.
Right, the edge that she has is very much that kind of figure. Yeah,
absolutely. Emily Mortimer, who co-wrote, pops up as well as, like you said, a cavalcade of that guys, Billy Crudup and Josh Hamilton and Lenny Henry. And, I think that this is a sharp observational movie from somebody who has spent most of their life in show business. Emily Mortimer has been around the block a few times too. Like, let's never forget, she's in Scream 3. So I think between her and Baumbach, they have collected enough anecdotes and observed enough behavior to really put together what I think is a fascinating portrait of a sort of wonderful bastard, somebody who is both like charming and giving and accommodating, but also like a complete self-centered prick. And we all have people like that in our lives, and we love them and they drive us crazy. And so even if you aren't like, plugged into show business, I think there's a lot to glean from this movie. Is it as good as Baumbach's, like, for me, just stunning 3 in a row of Frances Ha, Meyerowitz stories and Marriage Story?
No.
Not quite, no, but it's better than White Noise.
It is better than White Noise. Yeah, I liked it for a long time. It's a very classy kind of old-fashioned picture.
Yes.
Like Linus Sandgren shot it. There's an incredible long single take at the beginning. And it's funny that you mentioned Wild Strawberries and Bergman, because I feel like he's ripping off Altman at the beginning and Fellini at the end.
True.
Right? The whole big long shot has like, it puts you in the mindset and like in the milieu of who this guy is and the kinds of movies that he makes and what his process is, and it sort of sets up everybody because you get Adam Sandler there, you get all the Clooney in his element, and then the last shot is straight up lift from Fellini, and you'll know it when you see it. But along the way, it's very reverent. of Hollywood, of the idea of Hollywood. But it eventually collapses under the weight of its own schmaltz. And that Nicholas Britell score is doing a whole lot of heavy lifting in the big emotional climax here.
Yeah, it is trying hard.
It really is. But I found a lot of the transitions quite elegant. Like there are places he will be and then he'll open a door and it will be a flashback to a pivotal point in his life.
Yeah.
And over and over again, that was done in a way that I was...
train car and into an audition,
Yeah, there's a cool thing in the forest where he's on the phone that I thought was a very cool kind of aha moment. So over and over again, it's really beautifully shot. It's got that kind of like classy patina about it. Like it feels old fashioned, but also very of the moment as far as, what Hollywood is like, which I guess makes sense because he is an old fashioned kind of movie star. There is a moment where he is considering his own legacy amid the greats like Clark Gable or Gary Cooper, and where does he fall in that? And that feels very meta. I mean, the whole thing is very meta, but Clooney looking in the mirror and considering his own place within Hollywood history, is the kind of moment it seems kind of self-aware in a way that's surprising.
Obviously, in signing on for this, he knew what he was in for. He knew what comparisons he would be inviting. And he's obviously open to all of that, and he is open to sort of playing around with the notion of his own celebrity, which he's always been, I think on the one hand, had one foot firmly in like unapologetic movie star and one foot in like, can you even believe this? And I think this is the kind of role that allows him to play that balance. Just the fact that he's in this movie allows him to be like, yeah, sure, I'm not taking it that seriously. I'm perfectly happy to analyze and dissect and discuss this stardom thing, which isn't really real, but at the same time, only a star could play this role.
Yeah. And it really gets what that life is like in terms of where he lives and what he wears and who brings what to him. He complains that he's constantly alone, but there's always somebody bringing a bottle of water to him without him having to even ask. And so it's really a rarefied air that he occupies.
Right.
And in very tangible ways, this film, constructs that around him. I want to talk about the Billy Crudup scene because he's really only in one key scene and it is crucial and it is such a high wire act. I kind of don't want to totally give it away, although there's been like a whole article written about how did he do it. There's a whole big LA Times piece with Billy Crudup about this, but he comes in and just changes the whole thing, and that scene has so much tension and is almost like a little short film in itself, but it is pivotal to putting Jay Kelly onto the road that he will go on.
Yeah, he's like the first character we meet who's not directly in the Jay Kelly universe, because everybody up until that point has been either his daughter or people that work for him or people that work with him. And here's somebody who knew him when. Their friendship dates back to before he was famous, before he was Jay Kelly, and the way that he kind of plays both sides of that and all of the things of being somebody who was that close to making it and saw somebody else make it instead, and how he then feels about that. It is beautifully done. And it's such a contrast to what Crudup is doing every week on the morning show, which is also brilliant, but completely a different character.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, it's a great cast and each new scene, it's some new person like, oh, it's that person. Oh, it's that person. Riley Keough was really good too as his daughter, as his estranged daughter who like Crudup's character sees through his bullshit and is not here to prop him up. Yeah. And that's his approval he wants the most of all.
And I was really surprised at how much, I'm not surprised that how much I liked Sandler because I think he is, in Meyerowitz stories, he's terrific. Working with directors like this, it brings out his best stuff. But I loved the intricacies of his character and how much he is devoted to his family, but at the same time understands that he has to drop everything when Jay Kelly calls and needs him for a thing, and the toll that has taken on his personal life, not just now, but in the past, as we come to learn. I found all of that really fascinating, and Sandler's really playing all the levels of that and the need of it and the accommodation of that and the anger, the repressed anger of it all. It's a really stunning performance.
Yeah, he's very good in it, and you feel that he's a true believer. You know, he
Yeah.
believes in this person. It's not cynical just for the money. Like he believes in the power of this star to change hearts and minds, and so he's on board. Yeah, it's really good for a while, and eventually I found it just super heavy-handed and cloying, and it's emotional, pounding us over the head. But it's good for a while. So if you want this kind of glossy escape. It's entertaining. So it's in theaters now on Netflix. I want to say December 5th.
Okay.
So I will give Jay Kelly, I'm going to say a 7.2.
Yeah, I'm a 7.4. I agree with you. I think it is really strong, and then it kind of loses some steam. But there's a lot in there that you just really want to see.
Great. Go check it out.